everybody, welcome to emilykatemadethis. I am Emily Kate and I'm coming to you from Berlin in Germany. Welcome back to another vintage knitting project. Now, as you can probably tell from the title, this project didn't quite go as planned. So it's a very short video because it took so much brain power that I just couldn't record at the same time. So let me have a sip of my tea. I'll give you a little backstory and then I'll show the incredibly small amount of footage I took, and then we'll continue on. So I purchased a pattern on Etsy. Yes, Etsy. I will link it here. I'll post a picture or something. I won't link it here, no, I will post a picture of it here. And I thought this was the bee's knees. I thought this was going to be the coolest hat ever. And so this is the yarn I chose to use. This is the leftover woolly knit cone yarn. I believe it's called Autumn Glow, something like that. It's an amazing colour, and I just made a vintage twin set cardigan using this. I will link that around here. And also, if you were watching my last video, I talked about the plans to make this. And I cast on pretty quickly after recording my last video about my autumn plans. And I had some leftovers and I saw this awesome square hat, square beret pattern on Etsy, and I thought, I need this in my life. And I can use this and they will go so well together. And it'll be amazing, and yeah, keep watching to find out. And I realised that this was going to be a lot more challenging than I anticipated, because it's all knitted using short rows on the machine, which, although it's very clever and it does work really well to do short rows on the machine, you always have to concentrate. You can't have a moment where you're thinking about something else, because you need to move one needle from this side and wrap it around that side, and then move the carriage, go to this side, move a needle here, wrap it around here, and if you lose count, it's really difficult. And I have done that many times because I lost count, then I didn't know if I had already pulled the needle out, or did I need to pull the needle out. I've wrapped it round twice because I thought I'd already, I thought I hadn't wrapped it, but I had wrapped it. And worst is when I've dropped a stitch right down the middle, which actually I did also do. Excuse me. Yeah, so fun times. I will let you watch the footage and then I'll continue waffling on about it afterwards. To me, this does not look like the right shape at all, and it's not even. I really struggle understanding these knitting patterns for knitting machines. Oh, for any machine, for any knitting project. But, that just doesn't seem right somehow. What shape it should be? The shape I have. That looks more like a toe for a sock. I'm definitely not sure if I'm doing it right, but I'm just gonna keep going with what I'm doing. And I was trying to record it, but to be honest, it's taking so much of my brain power. I can't really hold a camera and talk about it at the same time. So I will report back when I have done what I think is correct, and we'll see how it's looking. I can't quite comprehend how this is going to turn into a hat, but let's see what happens when I block it. I dropped a stitch right here, so I have to fix that too. But let's see what happens. Okay, so I tried to block this using my steamer, and then I tried to use iron and I couldn't figure it out, so then I just threw it in the sink as per usual. And then when I went to put it out on this dodgy full of hold yoga mat, I suddenly saw the shape that it's supposed to be. So I've pinned the corners in, and I don't know, there's a lot of excess fabric, but I'm assuming that's perfectly normal. And I will, when it's dry, seam this together. Then I pick up and crochet, but I will probably knit a couple of rows inside. So now I have figured out what it was meant to look like. I don't know if it's going to fit. It looks quite small, but we'll find out when it's dry. I really hope it fits because it would look super cool with my cardigan. I will let you know. Now, you may have expected a grand reveal at the end of that footage, but I have not completed this. There are two reasons. First of all, I need to do the ribbing by hand. It says to do just 2 crochet rounds and you're done, but I don't think this is going to fit if I just did 2 rounds of crochet. So I thought I'll do ribbing, but to be honest, I don't think I'm ever going to wear this. And the idea of spending a good 2 hours maybe doing ribbing, maybe longer, just so that I could show you a clip and then never wear it ever again, kind of seemed like a waste of everybody's time. So you tell me what you think, because I think this is a disaster. Are you ready? There is a safety pin, no, a stitch marker, because as I previously mentioned, I dropped a stitch right where one of the short row turns went. Now, I followed the pattern. I had gauge. I had the correct gauge, both. I'm now wondering if it had a row gauge. Basically, it was on gauge. And it fits the average head, whatever size that may be. I'm pretty sure I have a bigger head than the average, but this is tiny. Now I'm going to precariously balance this on my head because I've discovered there's a reason that we don't wear square hats. How on earth does one style a square hat on the head? It doesn't. So this should, theoretically, according to pattern, just have 2 tiny rows of crochet. So I don't know if you're supposed to have this like on your head, like, this is the back because it's where it's seamed up and it looks kind of rubbish, but it's supposed to have a tassel, and then you could kind of cover up this puckeriness and this seam. But I'm getting American graduation cap vibes from this, and I'm not a fan of that look. So basically I can precariously balance it on my head like this. How does one balance a square hat on the head? And this is to size, so I'm assuming I have just a massive head, and I've tried pulling it down here. I look like a child at school way back when who did something naughty and they put them in some stupid hat. So, what do we think? Are you loving it as much as I am? Can you see it at all angles? I don't know if having some ribbing here would make it better, or it would just look equally as rubbish but would have ribbing. And I'm really stuck now on what to do, because how does one wear a square hat? Is it actually possible to accomplish this? And do I just rip it out, or can I do something with it? Now I have to sort my hair out. I did consider like, belting it, turning it into a pot holder or something, but I don't need one, so that's a waste of time. I then considered making a second one and joining it together and seaming it along here and turning it into some kind of bag. Equally, I think it's ugly, so do I want to do that? Oh, not really. So it might go to the frog pond. I don't think it was a total waste of time to make it because I really wanted to make it, so it scratched that itch. It was very confusing and I managed to get over the hurdle, so I learned something new. And I learned how to do a continuous shape. All of this was done on the knitting machine, starting from a cast on here, and then a bunch of different short rows, then repeating the short rows, then repeating the short rows until it eventually formed a shape that I could seam together. So I learned something, so that was great. And I mean, it was funny, but I'm pretty disappointed that I don't have an awesome hat now, because I thought I'd have a great hat. My husband said it would be better if it was bigger, like a lot bigger, so that it actually sat like a hat, but equally said it would still look hilarious and would still give off American graduation cap vibes. So is it worth making another one that's completely off gauge? I don't know. What do you think? So yes, as I said, very short video today because this was a total fail and there is a reason we don't wear square hats. So thank you very much for watching, and I very much hope my next video is a lot more successful than this one.